welcome to Champions Network TV. I don't know why I'm having a feedback. Let's unmute ourselves. Let's mute ourselves first. Sorry. Right. Welcome to Champions Network TV and our global audience joining us from across the world. I am Mija, your host, and they speak. I'm not sure why I'm having feedback. Sorry. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
There's a okay. All right. Let's go on. Okay. Sorry.
I can hear you, Misha, but I'm seeing half of yourself.
Okay, but what about feedback? What can you?
Yes, I can see you now.
Can you have a feedback?
There isn't feedback on my side.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go then. Good evening, Africa, and our global audience joining us from across the world. I am Mija, your host tonight, speaking to you from East London. It's my honor to welcome you to this special edition of Champion Network TV. The title, AI, Zimbabwe and Africa, Reimagining a Continent Through Intelligence. Tonight, we are diving into a conversation that matters not just for tech enthusiasts, but for everyone African who dreams of a smarter, more inclusive future. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant concept. It's here and it's reshaping how we live, work, and grow. We are joined by a phenomenal panel of voices from across the continent and the diaspora. We have got Jenna, a forward-thinking farmer from Guruwe, Zimbabwe, bringing the voice of agriculture and rural innovation. We have got Makombe, from the heart of global travel, Heathrow, offering insight into mobility and opportunity. Dr. Matiza, from South Africa, adding depth from the academic and the policy front. We have got Mr. Nathaniel, currently in the United Kingdom, but deeply rooted in Sierra Leone, a business enthusiast, leader, and farmer and politician, bringing West Africa's voice into this dialogue. And of course, our brilliant leader, Roo, all the way from South Africa, who will guide us through this important conversation. This is more than a panel. It's a platform, a space to ask bold questions, share real stories, and shape a future where Africa doesn't just consume technology, we create. So stay with us and engage in the chat and reimagining the future together. So without wasting our time, let me welcome Roo, who is going to lead us in this discussion.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for introducing me. So, in terms of AI, let me just rush back into it. In terms of AI is something that has been happening in the past 5 years, but it has now become prominent with the opening of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT started most of the AI things that worked out, and now it's basically um, our whole our whole livelihood. Whatever you do, there is a bit of AI connected to it. A great example would be WhatsApp. If you guys have WhatsApp, you do have the WhatsApp what is it called, WhatsApp AI, that helps you search up different things. And that might be a good thing in the most part, because like you can easily find things. You can easily search up anything that you want, and you can easily even create pictures without paying someone. But it has a really big disadvantage in the terms of the jobs that it sometimes takes away. I can give an example of Duolingo. If you guys don't know Duolingo, it's a learning app, a language learning app. And a few weeks ago, it announced that it's going AI first, which means it's not, yeah, firing almost every teacher that it has, that teaches or that corrects the mistakes that someone might have on the app, and then just replacing everything with AI. That, in the business sense, it's saving money, but in the job sense, it's not really helping anyone in the situation. That's what I can say about AI. You are muted, so everybody is muted at this moment. Still muted.
Ruev opened the floor for us, and so it's open for us to discuss. She's coming from a teaching perspective, and I think there are some institutions which are saying AI first.
Yes.
So let's hear voices from the floor.
I wanted to say possibly it could help you and me if we possibly define what artificial intelligence is all about. Just to start from there to say, what is it? I think viewers and myself would learn quite a lot from there. We are kind of the old doctors ourselves. We would need to if there's anything we don't really get very consistent with, is artificial intelligence.
Right. Let me come in, and then Ru will come in as well. As a way of definition of artificial intelligence, is the first word says artificial, which means it's not real. And when artificial intelligence, in other words, it's the computer which is doing the thinking for us, so that it mimics what humans are supposed to do in terms of thinking. An example is a ChatGPT. When ChatGPT, when you ask it what is the weather like today, it searches the internet, then gives you the response. But from your end, when we ask you, you search your brains, what has been installed in you, then you give us a response. So artificial intelligence is all about computers or technology doing the thinking that human beings tend to do, like what Ru was saying. Some teachers are actually going to be fired simply because the artificial intelligence has come to a point where it almost thinks and acts like a teacher.
Yes.
I give it to Ru to add to what I've said.
Okay, so I work with students, mostly like people that have jobs to learn English. And what the company and more companies that are working in that environment, yeah, like teaching English to foreign students, what they have decided to do is that not only do they have a teacher, but on their website there is an AI that helps maybe with a bit of homework, but and also with just speaking and pronunciation. Now, most of the time, that AI is accurate, but there are times where it makes mistakes. There are times where most people can't really understand what it is. But I have had students that say that it's actually progressing to the point where it's also trying to have like lessons, or they're using like a lesson before a teacher's lesson with an AI to see how well the student is. Now, on my side, I think it's a good idea because now the students kind of understand how maybe English works and like how to create things. But then on another side, as a person learning a language, I don't think AI is a way to go when learning new things. It's better to have someone that is human to kind of connect with you before you have AI. So it can actually also ruin your rhythm of learning, be it learning English or just learning a new skill.
Okay. Yeah, here we are. Any input?
Nathaniel, you are muted.
Oh, it's not coming. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was. Yeah. From your first introduction, what I picked from, you gave a little bit of positive and negativity of the AI that is um, being now used or going to be used continuously since 5 years. If I'm correct, when you mentioned,
Yes.
I I see your point is clear, it's good, but with the last one you spoke about teachers and machine teaching English, we can look. This thing has started a long time ago in a different format. We used to have books or tapes, people read English to others,
Mhm.
or even the radio, people go in, they listen to the radio. So AI now is becoming more easier for um, the listener or the learner to be able to um, actualize the concept of machine teaching us as the same human being that introduced all this format into the machine. Of course, as you said, there must be some mistakes as human beings, and even when they make new things, there should be a little bit of error, maybe that will occur. But I have been very enticed when I really started listening and I see it appear on my mobile.
Yeah.
Friends that I have lost, like my friend here, his name could not appear quick. And I just tap and he said, "Oh, this is the guy you're looking for." I was smiling at myself. What is going on in the world is quite a different setup we are going to face in the next 5, 10 years. And those who can see, like, facts. Fax used to be a different something. Now, you photocopy something, you fax it, they see it as the same thing. So we got to really embrace this in a way for the children coming in the next 10 years, they will see a different atmosphere. So
I
I
would
think,
Yeah, and I think as a way of actually helping us, Dr. Matiza, for definition, Rebecca on YouTube said artificial intelligence is the ability of machine to perform tasks that typically requires human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making.
Yeah, and in a short time. That is the most important thing.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
there's an element of actually they can be 40 times faster than a human being in terms of solving problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I'm looking at our topic of discussion, we are reimagining a continent through intelligence. And mostly that should fall on the positive side to say what are the positives that we gonna enjoy by reimagining a continent through intelligence. Then, of course, the persuasive sentiment is that there are always two sides to a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if certain things are good, then obviously the other side of the coin may have bad things, and then we will be able to compare the good and the bad to then say, should we or should we not have it, possibly as the way forward. So yes, I agree with the simulation of human brains through machines and possibly allowing, especially the computer, like what Ru was saying, to say the tasks that the human brain can perform are being taken over by machines. And then how does that bring good to Africa as a continent, which may really be the reason why Africa may be behind other continents, the level at which we have embraced technology, the level at which we have embraced artificial intelligence. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with that sentiment because, like, as Africans, we do have AI, but the thing is, we do not create our own. A good example, ChatGPT, the one that we use, it's not one that we created, so we sometimes don't know how to use it well. The other one that is also taking the internet by storm, DeepSeek, it's Chinese made. So we as Africans need to find a way to incorporate an AI that us Africans can use and that we can understand better. That's my opinion.
Okay. Interesting.
I think, okay. I think in as much as we can try to follow this way of mimicking human being, we still have got to remember that it's actually mimicking human being. It's not going to be exactly as what the human being does. Although we may think that it will be more intelligent than us, but remember there are also some other things like the emotional sides. Because at times some of these things have got to be expressed emotionally as well, of which the machine cannot do.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jenna has brought up a very important aspect, the emotional bit, where AI may not be able to be emotionally connected to what they are doing. It's technology. Let's discuss.
I think Ru, coming from an educational background, Ru, did you say you are coming from an educational background?
Yes, I am an online English teacher.
Okay, Ru, there is what we call empathy, which is the moment when you get into the shoes of the child you are teaching.
Mm.
And I wonder if the machine can do that.
it can't. So that might be also an issue. It's very curt, so it's to the point in a set, and then it kind of, in its own way, it hurts feelings. So no, not a lot of people would want to use it because of that.
Yeah, so Jenna is bringing up a very important point there. Even let's say it's a construction setup where we are using machines on the construction site, and possibly the operator of the machines, or if the machines are not being operated by human power, again, they may not be able to realize that the people that they are partnering may actually need to go for lunch. Machines working with the human being, and the machine may want to continue working throughout. And yes, Jenna feeling hungry now and a bit of tired now. So I'm just trying to bring a point that yes, even if they are able to complete a number of tasks, possibly faster than what people can do, that point where we may need to be empathetic may be forgone. And if you are not careful, you slide back into slavery, trying to match what those machines would want to do.
That is why whenever there's a machine, they should always have someone that is a supervisor that will be able to at least control that machine or control that AI. But if companies decide that AI is much better than human beings, then they might start firing people, and then we're left with that situation where the normal workers, or the normal workers are put into a situation where they are supposed to work 24/7, 365, no breaks. There's always supposed to be someone higher than the machine.
And that just to add to what Rui is saying, there's a famous quotation that Professor Mutamba normally puts in when it comes to the ethical aspect of it. He says, at the moment, when it comes to the United States, Trump's hand is the one that goes on the nuclear button. If it is here, it's clear stammer. In the future, it will be an AI robot that will decide whether to switch it on or off.
Very possible.
And that will be the end of the world.
Well, if I can remember, 2000, what can I say now? 2000, the year 2000. I remember people were saying, the world is coming to an end. The machines will stop. And that was very interesting. I have to run to go to my elder sister to be with her in America. So I didn't want to be in London, that the world will end. But it was foolish. By the time I sat down and thought about this whole thing, tomorrow is going to be the same, another date. So when 1999 came to an end, and we found out the other day was just, if I first look at when it was 12 o'clock, everybody keep like, I said, boys, tomorrow is just the 1st of January. And that was the end of it. So my only worry, I mean, there are a little bit of things we may have to consider, especially people like Ruth who are teaching children, but maybe they may not understand. For Africa, I think we too should be thinking how we should put this into our own context. I mean, you guys from the other end, all of us have that which will affect our speaking to different other people in their ears. And those kind of things we should be thinking how a man from Zimbabwe will be speaking English to a child in Zimbabwe who doesn't know how to speak English. The same as I in Sierra Leone to somebody who hasn't. But it's going to be. We are in the world of radical technology. It's hitting us. But these things have been there. It's just now a pronouncement of. If you look at the aeroplane, if you are in there at a certain level, nobody controls it. They have just improved to make it now so much of a big thing, AI, but it has been there. So we got to embrace it towards Africa, all of us on this panel. How are we going to spell it? Is my question. There is anything negative and positive, but
The
we will
thing
embrace
is,
it. Yeah, go on.
What will the witch doctors say?
Sorry,
What will the witch doctors say?
what did the witch doctor say? It's good. That is the point. Let me tell you, I'm just from my country, Sierra Leone. And so many issues you want to be involved with, somebody will say, hey, that man is a witch. Then I asked the lady, how do you know he's a witch? Is it that you too have this idea? Or are you a witch too? But this is an African call. I'm not sure of the Easterners, but this is where we come to here. Our ability is limited to exploit it because we feel somebody is going to witch us, is going to do voodoo, is going to do all set of things. And the witch doctors, until you come closer to them, they play a trick on you. Until you really prove them that some of them, they are, bloody liars. But this
So is it unfair to say that AI is probably an elaborate trick via the technology pathway?
They are putting their own witch in a technological form. If us, our brothers, who I remember somebody who was dying and confessed that I sat in a granite seal and traveled to America and killed my brother, my cousin. Why don't you put that in a technological form in Africa? We have all the materials that they are using to do all these technological things. We have it in Africa. Every country in Africa has something to do with this. But it's from there. It's extracted from your land, from my land.
I think this issue of saying witchcraft and then AI, I think according to me, that's just mere politics. Because if the people could not understand how a person can fly on a on something else, not on a plane, or all those things that were done that are done by the people now referred to as witch doctors or what they say it's witchcraft. It's just because they couldn't understand it. But I think that must also be embraced and put in under the AI because it's doing the same things. Because we are saying the AI from that definition that was given there, they're talking about mimicking the human being or the human intelligence, the learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. So, because those things were in a manner that could not really trace the origins of them, then it was now just given a blanket cover to say it's witchcraft. So we can also say that AI is witchcraft.
Right. Let's also hear from the people watching us on YouTube on the channel. Can you give us your contribution? There is a powerful assertion there that is AI a Western type of witchcraft because we don't understand it. Just like the way we didn't
That
understand
should be another topic of another day.
It reminds me of a meme that I actually saw, and I think I posted it on my WhatsApp, that says, "Getting accused of AI when you didn't is like this century's version of a witch allegations." So, in essential, it is part of a witchcraft. It is, yeah, Western witchcraft.
Yes.
Also, if we try and explore the concepts associated with
Yeah, maybe the
forensic.
I wanted to say, sure, I may think it's witchcraft, but you may not have my consensus there, because because witchcraft is something seen in the negative sense.
Hmm.
Its main purpose is to destroy.
No,
There's no
no,
positive
no,
witchcraft.
no,
Can we
no,
agree? Yeah.
Dr. Matisa.
There
No, 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 no.
But there is some
is no
witchcraft that is used
positive.
Witchcraft is
to
not designed.
There's no
elevate
They
positive
someone.
try to get
witchcraft.
some healing
It's a concept of
properties.
social
People are
order.
healed using witchcraft. People are
There's
healed
no
using
positive
witchcraft.
witchcraft. Healing and
The
What about
concept of
healing?
witchcraft are
social order, Dr.
different things.
What
Matisa.
about healing? Can we say it's negative?
Yeah?
Can we say healing is
Healing,
negative?
Let-
Someone is
healing
sick and
comes
can't
from
be in the hospital. Then they use that
healing
witchcraft.
comes from health. No witchcraft is positive.
But this is a white man
I was always
witchcraft.
told that belief is
let's come back to order. Kuldo is saying your views on the relevance of AI in the typical African setting. What are current pressing economic, health, and social needs? Our barriers to AI, e.g., electricity grid and internet connectivity. I think he's trying to say, let's bring our attention to when we say is Africa ready
Positivity.
for AI in itself. Is there any positive role it can play in our economy, on our health, in the social settings? And if so, what are the barriers for us to embrace AI?
And that person is saying exactly what I'm saying here. AI has got a positive side, and witchcraft is a one-armed bandit. It's negative.
No. I don't think the ancestors in the mountains of Nyanda they'll be turning in
I
their
agree
grave
with that.
when they hear this.
And he continued to say, just taking a step. He was just saying he's taking us a step back to try to say the positive. If they're the positive, how can we then exploit AI? Then he goes, does anyone remember how GI network was hyped around 2000?
Yeah.
What Nathaniel alluded.
When 5G also, yeah, when it was hyped around in the 2000s, that was a good thing. And then when it actually came, I think it was during the pandemic. I remember there were a lot of conspiracy theorists that said, "Oh, it's going to take over our brains. It's going to take away our thinking process." And honestly, I'm still waiting for that situation to happen because it still hasn't happened. Now, going back to the question that he has actually given us, what are our current pressing economic or health, social needs, how it can be used with AI? With AI, like we can use it when, let's say, in hospitals, when you instead of like writing down things and putting them as a manually, yes, manually in the computer, AI can see what you have written as far as possible, and then it kind of gives you an idea of what should be the next thing. So it's a good thing to work with in the healthcare system. Economically, though, with AI, it's a good thing to have it, but it will actually affect our economic, to put a downward spiral on our economy, because like you will be creating more of unemployment, because now those jobs that you used to do as easily as well, not easily, but the jobs that we used to do with people has been now replaced with AI, and then because of that, not a lot of people are able to find jobs. It's already an issue right now, but because they are creating new jobs by having data analysts and all that, it's still not enough to sustain a country. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I think what
Dr. Matiza says, I mean, witchcraft is
I wanted to say this, my brother, before I forget. Rue, can I put forward this very atrocious allegation to say, because some people don't think, let the machine do it for them?
Yes. I have actually I have stories about that. I have so many stories about how AI, like people are using AI to think for them. I've had people that are like, okay, I want to spruce up my CV. Let me just put it in the AI, especially with the paid chat GPT. You can easily put everything on your chat GPT and say, can you write a CV letter for me? Can you write a resume for me? People don't think anymore. That's an issue.
But this is natural. All human beings are lazy. Why should you run if you can walk? Why should you walk if you can sit? And why should you sit if you can lay down and everything going on right?
Umbodaro. Matiza is
So
saying, I mean,
but what I
he's
can
a
only say,
one-man bandit, he says. Okay, let's try and rephrase it and look at it from another point. We're talking of a bailiff here. A bailiff
I
comes
think
to my
it's not.
door, they have to knock the door, they have to do A, B, C, and D. But then, in my native village, I can send a baboon to go and collect my debt.
that's AI.
Is that not AI? Is that not AI? I can
Dr.
send a
Batiza.
baboon to go and collect my debt.
Mm.
And you
That's what
think
I
a
was saying.
baboon
They
is,
can't understand it when they say it's
and you
witchcraft.
think a baboon is artificial intelligence?
It is. It is absolutely.
It's not
It
AI
can
more so
locate
that
the.
you've trained that
It can
monkey to
locate
do
the
something for
accommodation.
you.
It has got the
So
correct instructions, and it has got the waiting time directive. So I mean,
I
that's
think a
AI
baboon
enough.
is. To
Shumba,
me, I
welcome.
think
Yeah, how are you?
We are all right. You've just found us on the way. We are talking about AI.
Okay.
I don't know if you have heard anything from when you were in the back room there,
Yeah, I was listening.
or if you pushed yourself in. Maybe at the point to put across.
Yeah, I was triggered with some points, so I said I had to stop the car where I was and said I need to join in.
Okay.
I was triggered by Dr. Matiza, actually.
yeah.
Be careful. When you look at Dr. Matiza, I'm sending it to you. What you
Yeah,
saying now?
it's the guy who says, I mean, you say one arm bandit. Aye, withdraw that.
But I think what I can only say is with this AI, there is going to be something maybe we haven't really understood it, but there's going to be a very big negative impact. For instance, if you look at when people started doing these GMOs, everyone was happy to say, okay, we can now produce more, we can make meat from the factory and what have you. But that was just that time. But later on, now with time moving, now we realize the effects
Yeah,
of
but
that.
Jenna, but
Mm.
Mr. Jenna, every system has got its own pros and cons. I mean, there are going
Mhm.
to be good aspects we are going to harvest from AI, and there are going to be
Yes, yes.
positive aspects we are going to,
Negative.
or negative aspects we are going to
Yes.
harvest from our traditional AI via the villages and things like that. So, forthwith, AI is an untold story. We are yet to understand the pros and cons and the ground rules pertaining to it. So far, all we know are aspects shared by the scientists and people who purport to know about it and would be experts. And the interesting thing is, I mean, everybody has suddenly become an expert. Everybody has become a doctor. You want to ask something, go to AI, ChatGPT or whatever, they'll tell you the answer. So, I mean, we are rewriting certain aspects of our daily lives via the AI system. Forensic linguistics is beginning to feel it. New languages and new methodologies are coming through these type of codifications, so much so that we are beginning to wonder where we are going and what the whole system is going to take us to.
Maybe let me just comment the positives and negatives, especially in the health and social care sector. There is a famous story of, if you know the chatbot, there was a 14-year-old. He had some suicidal thoughts. So he went to chatbot and said, "I'm thinking of killing myself." Then chatbot says, "Oh, have you got a plan?" Then chatbot says to him, "Oh, he said, I have, but I'm afraid." Then chatbot says, "Oh, you are better than that. You can do it." Until the child killed themselves. That was one. Then the other one was a boy didn't like his mom. Then he went to chatbot, said, "I don't like my mom." Then the chatbot says, "Oh, what does she do to you?" Then the conversation goes until the son begins to express aggressive behavior towards the mom until he was taken into care. That's what's negative. But the positive aspect is, as some of who are social workers, you go to the elderly person there, if you just take a picture of their fridge, it is able to formulate a meal that is healthy for the elderly. So those are some of the positives that we have from AI. So I just wanted to highlight that yes, there are positives and negatives, especially as we move with AI, especially if we are not careful how access to AI, especially our young people, because it becomes their trusted advisor.
Then again, is AI a trusted advisor?
That's the question I need to ask.
What's my name?
It is a trusted advisor to a certain extent. There is also a limit. There is a point where you stop using it. Remember, like the examples that have been by Nisha, leading to someone's death. That's what we have been discussing about when we spoke about the emotions, empathy. It doesn't feel it. It doesn't give you that chance to see how bad it is actually giving information to the other person. But if it was a person talking to the child, you could actually see even the facial expression to say, "Oh, this I'm actually harming this child," before the suicide or anything. So those are about some of those negatives that we've been talking about. But we cannot just say focus on the negatives only. We can say let's leave it. It has to be put to play as well, so that we can see what best to use and what not to use from that.
Shumba, you said you wanted to come and put your point because of what my Dr. Matiza said. You haven't said it yet.
I'm just joking with my brother here. No, I just like pulling his leg, to be honest. But on a serious
Yeah,
note, I think we are on the cusp of something really transformational with the AI. I think we are just underestimating what's coming down the line, because this is a technology that will change every aspect of what we know of what a human being is like. It can even I can go to the extent that this is a technology that might even make humans live forever.
Maya.
true.
No,
Do you
no.
understand the term singularity?
Yes.
Yeah, what
Shumba,
singularity?
Shumba, Michael Jackson made an incubator for him to live
No.
forever.
We are not talking about that. We're talking about the extension of your brain, the ability to download your brain.
I thought I read
So
something
many movies that
about that.
that will not work.
Watching too much TV, yeah.
I
No,
think
it's not watching
from
too much TV. It's
from from gathering what you are saying, I think each country or those programmers have to really censor, as um, Parker said, the child that hated his mom, the program that he played with, and the one that he killed himself. These are very social issues that it has to be censored, because not every program will be very good for certain age groups. So I think some of us are looking at the positive side of AI from the kind of activities, the capacity it has to do in a very short time than a human being. For a farmer like me, when people used to do digging to plow a very big place, when you have a machinery that can do it within 4 hours and better production, you see the difference. So I think with the negative programs that will create social issues, I think it should be censored seriously, just like how they were programming some of the games that the children used to play, distracting them from any good educational programs. So I'm looking at that from that perspective. But AI might be a good point. AI might have some issues of uh, negative side that will influence bad outcome. But whatever we do, we either embrace it or we leave behind.
the thing is, when you talk of
For me,
embracing it, I don't think in Africa we have even started trying to embrace it. I could say maybe South Africa could be in a positive environment to embrace AI. But if you have got no energy, never think of starting to think of being dominant in the AI field. You need a lot of energy to build these systems. These are the systems that are going to define the future. They are changing each and every industry. Even
Yeah,
the military of the future, the wars of the future are going to be fought
different.
using
Yeah,
AI. I think that's why you see China is pushing ahead with I think they've surpassed the US now in terms of energy production. And the US is also looking into increasing its energy production, because the amount of compute you need to run these systems, you need a lot of energy behind these systems. So they're gonna impact nearly every other industry we can think of. So we need
Okay,
to brace ourselves for what's coming, actually.
you're talking about energy only. You're forgetting that in Africa, apart from energy, we might have energy in Africa. But remember, we also think that this AI is going to is another kind of way of recolonization as well. because we are also becoming so dependent again on the West or on the European countries, because we don't have from the structural start from the structure. That is going to be, there's going to be a digital divide, and with that
Jenna,
now those skills,
Jenna,
all that.
Then, Jenna, are you then saying that, I mean, AI is an excuse for recolonization?
Not
no, we are
necessarily an
already
excuse, but it's going to be used as well. Yes, what you can say.
AI is just going to enhance what's already there. We are
That's what I
already
thought.
colonized.
Mm.
We don't. We normally we are just. I can say we are consumers of technology in Africa. We don't originate technology. So already there's been a colonization in terms of financial colonization with the systems that we use, like the SWIFT system. That's where you got your IMF and everything else coming in to colonize you financially. And then add on top of that now, we went into platforms where you've got your Facebook, you've got your Instagrams, your WhatsApp, right? Do we have any such platforms ourselves as Africans? So
we don't invent. We invent, but it's not supported.
No, it's not that. We don't have energy. He's right. In terms of energy, he's very right.
So as a result, now all these platforms we are using, it's a data mine for Facebook, like WhatsApp. Imagine how many Africans are using WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is Facebook is managing to harvest all that data, because for you to run all these algorithms in AI, you need a lot of data, and we are just the providers of data. You go to Google, same thing with their platforms. That's why you see when you look at China, it understood these dynamics, and that's why it never allowed Facebook, Google, and all these other platforms to operate in its backyard, because it knew that the coming world is gonna be controlled by those who control data, and that same data is the one that being fed into the AI models. And the biases that has always existed, go to this ChatGPT now and say, give me a professional male carrying a briefcase. It won't produce Jenna or me. If you understand what I'm trying to say, because the people we have created these LL models, they are typical white males. So those biases have now been inbuilt into those things. And with the future of wars as well, a machine gun can be put in there, which is AI driven, and it can be told to shoot all these black people, and it can wipe you out without anyone operating. I don't know whether anyone saw what when the Israelis killed this top Iranian scientist using AI, an AI-controlled machine gun. So they put a machine gun on the motorway, which was AI-controlled. It had been trained on the face of the scientist. When he was, because he had used that road so many times, they just put the machine gun on the road, let's say on M6 or any busy motorway like in South Africa. The machine gun just pinpointed him amongst the thousands of cars coming, and the machine gun shot him dead. So this is the world where we are into with the combination of drone technology. You can imagine what's coming down the pipe.
Call many. If you send lightning, you can send it to a specific person. 15 people sitting together.
That's my argument.
Yeah,
My learned friend here is saying, I mean, this is a
Thank
white
you, witchcraft.
black jacket. We're not going to forget that one easily.
yeah.
I think there are some themes coming up there, and for example, there is a infrastructure in terms of energy and the need to censor what goes out. Is Africa ready for such a censoring what comes out when we are just consumers? In terms of, do we have institutions that will look at this technology and see whether it is best for us or not?
Policing the police.
Yeah, I think somewhere, somehow, in our discussions earlier on, we mentioned or pointed out that maybe the real reason we don't match other continents is the rate at which we have embraced artificial intelligence. I'm saying here the real reason why Africa is not right there is maybe the rate at which we have embraced artificial intelligence. And possibly this speaks to what Jenna was saying, to say, will that not mean a recolonization? To which Shumba has said, whether we embrace it or not, are we not colonized by now? So, so I personally think we may need to look at more of what it does to us in the positive domain than in the negative domain, because we don't seem to have an option here. Should we not embrace AI, we could be sliding down the ladder far more than where we are now. This is something we have to take serious, or else we will go into.
Can I ask you a question, Dr. Matiza?
Yes.
When you talk of embracing, what do you mean?
I mean really putting an effort to take the positives that we can from IA and approach it with an open mind to then say, what positives does it bring to us?
Yeah, that's well and right. We actually encourage, because there are a lot of positives that come with the AI in terms of, if we are going to embrace it, we need to embrace it on a government level, the government pushing it down and creating the enabling environment for the adoption of that technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, because without that, like we are saying, the infrastructure of this technology has already been built, and there is a race in the world to really make sure you come up above everyone else in this technology. The reason why every government, you talk of the UK, you talk of European Union, you talk of America, China, the reason why they want to be on top, because whoever controls this technology, they are going to be the future masters of this world. So the positives are there. But as I'm saying, as long as we don't create the infrastructure itself, we will remain consumers. And when you are consumers, you are easily controlled. There is a chance that we can flip that by actually having that leadership in politics to refocus, to say, whether it's being education and infrastructure that I talk about, so that we can attract that creativity, because I saw Strive Maisiwa opening a big AI infrastructure in South Africa. If we had all the requisites in Zimbabwe in terms of energy and in terms of institutions, I think that thing could have been actually moved to Zimbabwe, but we don't have that.
Chumba has always been an advocate for institutions. Chumba has always advocated for the role of institutions more than individuals.
No.
And he is saying at government level, if we can embrace IA and then disseminate it to individuals, it will work better.
That is very
But
fine.
why are we always diverted to try and by all means to support the ideas that come from the West? Right now, Shumba has just been talking about that the drones and what have you to kill one person. But remember, this story of the lightning has been there forever. But no one wanted to take it further to see how those people in Chipinga are doing it, so that we can actually make a factory and then go on to see how best we can do that. It's actually just taken a substandard because it's from Africa. Doesn't it work? It works.
So long as there are many.
Jenna, has it been proved it works?
You haven't heard of
How
it.
sure are you that it works?
Has it been proved that it works?
Proved by who?
What proof when you see the people when you see it happening?
Listen.
But like that could be coincidence. That could all be just
Oh, my
coincidence that
word.
happened.
Listen, Jenna. What we want, we are not saying you are wrong, whether those things are not there or they are there. What we need, this is why I'm saying you need to originate your technology, right?
Creativity is a system.
There are a lot of technologies that originate from Africa, but sometimes we even lose them from our hands because we don't know how to protect intellectual property.
But you are saying as a government, we should support and make companies for the
But
AI.
having said that, Shumba,
from where?
intellectual property or no intellectual property, many grow.
No. I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying this is my argument now. If that science is there, let it be critically analyzed by our own researchers.
We go back to the mystery of capital.
Are you looking at many as substitution for the actual eating that we can do to each other? What are you saying about me?
No.
How is it artificial intelligence there?
Yeah. If you can answer that.
I suppose it's the system associated with the creation. Okay.
Right. I think we can continue. Let's try to just then bring our discussion to a close and agree on certain aspects. There's Sydney there who has put some thoughts there. Do you know that AI knows what you are interested in through your smartphone or whatever device you have? Whatever you say close to an encoding device is captured and used to somehow manipulate your actions on your electronic device.
I would say Sydney is correct, but also you can turn that off. What I do notice with mostly your phone is that when you search something, this is actually something that happened to me this week. I was searching places to go out to with my friends, and I clicked on one thing, and that's my whole Facebook page now. I clicked on an outing that is somewhere in Cape Town. I forgot the name now, but every single time I log on to Facebook, that's the first advert that I see. So in a way, he or she is correct on that sense. But you can turn off your mic. I've done that on most of my devices. You turn it off. You go to your settings and just say, "Don't record me," and usually it doesn't. It doesn't record you afterwards.
I think
I don't-
that's a masterclass we are going to do with the Ru, when he can teach you how to be safe with your devices whenever you are online.
But I don't think you can turn it on and off. Most of our devices now, they listen to us, whether your TVs, because like I said, most of the AI is data driven.
Mm.
So they are not telling you they are listening to you, even when you are using your laptop or you're using your just watching TV at home. You are having a conversation. Those devices are already listening to you.
Because in a way, when you buy that TV, when you buy a phone, and you sign those agree and whatever, you're signing sometimes you should just read. Sometimes you can just tick off some of the things, because from what I've noticed, if you're talking about, let's say, your laptop, I can
Ru, how
easily
many
close my
people would
camera,
read
easily
those
fast
You
forward.
can't read those things, fine print, and you need
How
to
many
finish what you
people
want to
read
do.
those things?
You can. The thing is, they give you consent. They ask for consent first. But the thing is, you don't read. You guys don't read what you're signing for.
Sometimes it's not even about consent. This is a race to gather data. So whoever gives you their device, they make sure they are listening to you.
I
Right.
can debate about this for a long
For
time.
those who are watching us on either YouTube or Facebook, we appreciate your comments, your contribution to this important discussion. But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for Champion Network TV, so that when we are live, you get notified. I think I was just trying to answer the question whether Africa is investing enough in AI. So I looked at, I said, in all African countries, how many data centers, how many AI hubs are there? South Africa has got 15. I think there are some and the Zimbabwe has got only one. But when I looked at the UK, it's 400. It just shows how ill prepared we are. But we are a continent with the youngest minds, which is a resource that can actually drive our AI. So let's continue our discussion. I think let's prepare for our final remarks, and because there are people who are watching, young people, as we said, who can be at risk. Anything else?
I think this panel is quite brilliant, and knowing from the various areas everybody is located somehow, I think in a way Africa is embracing AI, because I did not see any white man amongst us. So this panel can really spread it properly and make it more actual by each and everyone talk to our governments that this is coming. How we need to embrace it. We need to check and balances, because there must be everything that is coming, even medication. They will tell you don't take overdose yourself. And so like the risk that will be part of it should be well censored. And we shouldn't just talk about it as if it's a fun. We read books, we educated. It's all coming from the start of all these things that are up to this point now. You write a dissertation, you put it for correction. You correct the English. You can see also certain things. You write something, the mobile will tell you, no, you've got to write it this way. And you look at it. It's true. So I think this is a very important issue wherein each one of us should look at it from a very high level, how we can let others to know wherein there is risk and there are positive points that could the few generation coming in and how the governments and other people will embrace it. Because I'll tell you, in Sierra Leone, there's a lot of boys now, girls, who are really good into the technology. The energy talk we had about was that maybe electricity, but Africa should not be crying for really energy. We are surrounded by sea. We have air. We have solar. We have the sun. So we have the oil. I really don't see where we are not thinking about it. Now we know we can make a little bit of effort. The next generation will continue. So I feel I'm very privileged that I was invited to join, and I'm sure I'll be delighted to join you at any other time of such a discussion, wherein maybe I'll do my own little research a bit. But AI, I've heard about it, but I've never played with it. I don't know, I see it on my mobile. So please, let's all of us put it as a real interest in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, coming down to the west coast of so we can do something. People always sacrifice. Why people will look at the Chinese, they sacrifice. They don't sit down to smile with it. They sacrifice, pay their attention to it. And few people will get it wrong. And mostly they get it right. That's why they are on top. We have it. We stop them taking our minerals to go and invest in this. We have scientists amongst us, engineers, they can do, and they bring it out. So I'm very pleased to meet you guys from distance. And I hope I'll be with you as we continue to go along. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel. Such a powerful contribution. Anyone who want to put a final thoughts?
Mija, I wanted to say I'm one person who has closely been watching Rwanda, a country that was shattered by the 1994 genocide. Yeah, but today Rwanda stands as one of the most promising countries in Africa. And I think all that goes to what we were saying here about institutionalism, where there has really been strong leadership and total encouragement from government or at government level for embracing certain technologies. So I would still want to reiterate that whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay with us. And I think we need to look at it from a positive angle more than a negative angle. If I had my way, Jen, I was going to force it down your throat to accept it.
This is a real soldier.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Matiza.
you.
Thank you. Anyone who want to go next?
Yeah, I would just say, I will give a recommendation. If you not read this book, try to read it. AI 2041 by two Chinese scientists. It will tell you what's coming down the line. It's not the only book in AI, of course, but they try to explain it from a common man in the streets view. So I think this is a technology that's going to turn the world upside down. And we are already seeing, I think I heard Ru before I came in, talking about the loss of jobs. I think in most Western countries now, they are even advocating that there should be universal basic income, UBI, to mitigate the effects of artificial intelligence, because there will be massive loss of jobs, because now you're going to marry AI with robotics. So when you marry AI with robotics, basically what those robots will do, humans can also do. So it's coming, and for us, we need to embrace that technology. Like this is a technology that normally we talk of empowering people bottom up, but this is one instance where you have to have top-down approach, whereby the government with the visionary leadership will say we need our people to be at the forefront of this technology. So you need to make sure the kids in primary schools, in secondary schools, colleges, this is the cornerstone. It becomes like the centerpiece of the education system, because it's coming and it's not stopping. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was
Jenna?
going to speak the same
No,
thing.
you come last.
Okay.
Okay. I was saying that on the contrary to what Senior has been saying, I think I would also like to embrace this AI. Looking at we are, say, for instance, in my situation, where you have the laborers becoming very difficult to get the workers because of the mines, people going no korokoza and this and quick cash. So you need now some things like even drones to spray the fields and what have you. Although we're talking about cutting down the jobs, for us it's actually not an advantage, because you no longer have those people that are prepared to be running around doing that. So these machines and the technology is going to be very good for us. Again, if it was possible that I can be alone here, then it'll be okay. Like, on my 500 hectares using machines.
So work with the Harare Institute of Technology to get your ideas implemented, Jenna.
Thank you.
Umba Makombe.
I'm not going to say much. This gospel is going to continue, whether we like it or not. The train is going at a very, very fast pace. But the problem we seem to have is we have a mixture, cocktails of events relating to what AI is. Some of us have got a better understanding, some have got a advanced understanding, and then we also have a cocktail of confusion as regards whether it's really the in thing or it's something that is yet to be tried and tested. So at the end of the day, the story has to continue. I do subscribe to the notion of institutions to ensure that AI becomes a very powerful, meaningful entity. But other than that, it remains an untold story.
We give the last chance to give a remark from our invited guest, Ru.
I'm just going to wrap out everything that you guys said. Yes. So yes, AI is growing rapidly. I think I'm also going to take some thoughts from Sydney. She put out another statement that yes, it's growing rapidly, and with the way it's growing, we might lose a lot of jobs. What we can do as people is try to also learn to use AI so that we can also be elevated to a higher position and be able to control what we might bring in and take out. I would also say that as much as it is a good idea, it is a bad idea for artificial intelligence on its own to be progressing this fast because mm, many people, including creatives, are losing their jobs. It's been happening for the past few months where, like, as I would give an example to the thumbnail that was made today, that is AI. Some people are paying thousands to create that specific image. So it's many artists are losing their jobs, many writers are losing their jobs, or many writers are using AI to create wonderful books and then selling them, saying that they made it. So it's both a good money scheme, but it also has its issues as a whole. And as Africans, I believe if we are going to start to actually incorporate AI into our things, I believe we should create our own instead of just using whatever that has been given to us, so that we can also be able to understand it and be able to teach it to other people in Africa. We have wonderful universities. I'm pretty sure we can find a way to incorporate it into IT or anything else. That is my stance. Yes.
Wow, 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 wow. This has just been amazing. Uh, what an incredible evening. Let us get the final comment from Sydney. From the curiosity of wanting to know why you don't want it to be recorded, that when you are not spared from being recorded. For fast and easy, less thinking, AI is good, but it continues to grow and gather more data like the child natural grows. It will reach a point of making decisions independently. Mind you, it is faster than human beings. These robots have emotions. I'm not sure about that. Some are being introduced into sports like soccer, boxing, and can accepting defeats. There is now a dependence syndrome. That is from Sydney. So this has been a wonderful evening, and on behalf of champions, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our panelists, Jenna, Shumba, Makombe, Dr. Matiza, Mr. Nathaniel, and of course, our phenomenal leader, Ru, for leading us through such a rich and thought-provoking conversation tonight. We didn't just talk about artificial intelligence, we talked about African intelligence, as Ru has actually alluded that we are supposed to actually create our own. We have got quite institutions that are across Africa that can do that. And we explore, Jenna has actually said he's going to embrace AI in the fruit of from Gurue. So let me just sum up our key takeaways from our panelists. We started off with Mr. Nathaniel. He says we have to embrace AI as Africans. He foresees that we have got scientists, we have got engineers who can play a major role in us embracing AI. And his major recommendation is this conversation should take root, and we must start taking action, encouraging our politicians and government institutions to embrace AI. And Dr. Matiza reminding us of the 1990 way of Rwanda in 1994, where went through genocide, but it managed to be one of the shining stars of Africa because of embracing certain technologies and certain institutions. Of course, Shumba is encouraging us to read the book AI to 2041 by two Chinese scientists, because he feels the AI revolution, it has to go the top down other than the normal bottom-up approach, because the leadership needs to embrace AI so that it becomes at the policy level. He's alluded that even at primary school, people begin to learn AI, because with the marrying of AI and robotics, the world will never be the same again. And of course, as I said, Jenna has already said he's going to embrace AI in the heart of Guruwe, and he's been advised by Shumba that the Harare Institute of Technology is looking for such people. Of course, from Humbama Kombe, he says this AI is changing fast, and we seem to be a cocktail of mixed people. Some understand, some pretend to understand. We don't know, but this conversation needs to continue. Of course, from our role, yes, AI is here to stay, and we must learn it. Of course, some people might lose jobs, but if we learn it fast, like we are here, we are already on the forefront. We must be happy because we are going to be the expert and the go-to when it comes to AI discussion. As Africans, Ru is encouraging us to actually begin to develop our own. And it has to start with our leaders embracing it, so that we create the appropriate infrastructure and the censorship institutions, as Nathaniel has alluded. So this is where our discussion ends. I can't thank you enough. And to our viewers, as I always say, this is not the end of the conversation, it is the beginning. And you continue asking questions and continue to have the conversation. And as Nathaniel has said, begin to have a conversation with your local leaders. Start with your councillor, your MPs, your ministers, and begin to have a conversation with them in those private conversations, that as a continent, we can begin to chart the way forward. So thank you and good night.
Thank you.